Springbok Saga is proudly brought to you by Castle Lager, the taste that stood the test of time.
Welcome to the Springbok Saga. In this episode, we look at the year 2005. Jake White always said that the second year would be harder, and so it proved. But Brian Abana established himself as one of the major players in the world.
Get it to Brian Abana. Get it out on the wing. Here he goes again.
Can they catch this man? Abana, he's done it again.
Look at this. He's done it again. It's quite remarkable. It's unbelievable.
There was more Madiba magic at Ellis Park.
For the men again, beautiful pass, Jacques Fourie, that's a fabulous try.
And the Springboks came within a whisker of retaining their Tri-Nations title and becoming number one in the world.
It's going to be a penalty to the All Blacks if South Africa don't hold on. They're going, oh, it's Mialamu who's gone. The try is given.
It had been a fantastic 2004, Dan. 2005 began in an emphatic manner with that test in East London against Uruguay. And I can clearly remember Tonderai scoring 6 tries, but there were a couple of other records in that match.
Was that a cricket test or a rugby test? An amazing score. It's interesting about Tonderai Chavanga because how many of our wings made their debut and scored a lot of tries on debut? For instance, Stefan de Blanche and Brady Polser did it, but Tonderai got 6, and you could almost see the team trying to give him the record. So that was wonderful. And another player appears in Jake White's plans. Johan Smith recovers from injury and played in this test match to become number 12 of the 22 who would end up at the Stade de France on October the 20th, 2007.
2 new caps today, Ricky January.
Rico January, hy is soos 'n tol. Hy wil op die veld kom en hy wil afgedryf word.
Tonderai Chavanga, born on Christmas Eve 21 years ago.
Tonderai Chavanga, spoedvraag.
Flanker from the Sharks, Van der Westhuizen, all on his own out there, but he's found space through his pace. Now on the inside, here's January. Beautiful pass. Here goes Ricky. They're going to be standing up in Hopefield and cheering now.
Solid right shoulder needed by the Springboks here to provide that good ball for the backs.
Here goes January, Van der Westhuizen. Oh, beautifully picked up by Shivanga. What a great pickup by the right winger. And here's Van der Westhuizen, CJ van der Linde, Shivanga. Look at the stride in the man. Oh, this is brilliant. This is like a colt in full flight. Now it's with Marius Joubert. And Monty throws it wide. Tonderai Chavanga canters in for his hat-trick with super play. Marius Joubert, and there we go. That's the record is equalled. Stefan de Blanche's record is equalled by Tonderai Chavanga. It could be, this could be it. Off he goes, rewriting the record books. Try number 6.
Rugby's a game where you get on momentum and you get a winning culture, and I think now you can see in the change. I mean, it doesn't matter who we play. The guys want to win every single Saturday, and they're looking forward to France this weekend. The
next 2 tests in that year, of course, were against France, a double header against France, and in which we did very well with a draw and a win. But what was interesting was the predatorial skills of Brian Abana and Jean de Villiers, who almost became the intercept kings of world rugby.
You're certainly right about the intercept kings, and Dr. Cheryl Calder was somebody who Jake White had spoken about fairly often and crediting with that skill in particular.
Dr. Cheryl Calder has joined our coaching team. She was with the Australian cricket side that won the World Cup. And then she joined the England rugby side and they won the World Cup. That only makes logical sense that if you're preparing for a World Cup, that you get a person like Cheryl on board.
Cheryl knows what it's like to take a team to the very top. But what is visual training?
I probably would call it peripheral awareness. So the work that I do isn't just everyone has a measure of peripheral vision, but how you use that vision is important.
3G cards from Vodacom have been given to all of the players as well as the coaching staff, enabling them to do their skills tests and for Cheryl to check their progress from anywhere in the world. Gert Smal, the forwards coach, has already seen a difference in the depth perception and peripheral vision of his pack.
They say the eye is a muscle, and if it's a muscle, you can exercise that muscle. If you look at line-up play, it's quite important that you can use your peripheral vision and to know where the opposition is next to you.
They've probably been better than any team I've ever worked with. It's been fantastic for 2 weeks. They've taken it on, they've done it on the field, they've tried it. They've been really responsive. It's been great.
After being outmuscled by England at Twickenham in 2004, Jake White embarked on a concerted program to beef up the Springboks.
One thing I've learned as a coach today, and I'm hoping the players see it, is that physically we're not up to it. And I've been saying it since I got the job that our conditioning is not where it's supposed to be.
A key focus was getting the Boks to dominate up front.
The big challenge to us is to see if we can obviously dominate the game physically and secure possession first phase.
Ek het ook self nogal gevoel in die scrum, by die scrum sessie weer die krag het goed deurgekom. Timing was daar gewees. So ek glo, jy weet, op 'n einde van die dag is scrumwerk is ook maar 'n attitude, jy weet, as jy wil scrum, dan sal jy goed scrum. As jy nie wil goed scrum nie, dan gaan jy maar nie deur emotions gaan en jy weet, ons gaan definitief kan bekostig om deur emotions te gaan nie.
We did relatively well last year, and when we failed was against England at Twickenham. And the one thing that we learned from that game is that we had to be a lot more physical, not physical in the way we play, but physical in the way we defend, physical in the way that we contest. I've been with these under-21 boys for the last couple of years, and if you look at the names like Skalkberger and Jacques Cronje and Fourie du Preez and Brian Abana and Jacques Fourie and John de Villiers, Ashwin Willemse, they're all 22, 23 years old, and I really believe that we are in South African rugby now probably where France and England were 3 years before the last World Cup. This team, as juniors, have beaten France, have beaten England, have beaten New Zealand, have beaten Australia, have beaten Ireland. All they've got to do is stay together because they've won as juniors anyway.
Van der Westhuizen sees a bit of space. Oh, he's given it away. This is dangerous. Here comes Nyanga. Now, has he got enough pace? And Banner will catch him, but can he stop him? No, he can't. Yep. Offside. The French offside. A nice easy start for Percy Montgomery. Skalkberger out in the back line. There's a couple of pacey men here. Down she goes. Montgomery's in the line. And there's a chance now. Banner on the out. Can a Banner get in? Banner in the corner. The right wing has hardly touched the ball. He's also making his debut. Drop attempt from virtually the halfway line. Have a look at this. It's over. Penalty forthcoming for South Africa. It's really been a good day for Montgomery with those 3 very important kicks of his. Bruno very much involved up front as well. And he doesn't miss many of those. So the French are back in tow then. Over the top. Onto Brian Abana. Taken on by Van der Berg. Get it to Abana is the call. This man's quick. No one catching. Hayman's flying across. Brian Abana has got his second try here in Durban. French line-out continues to be secure. Albert van der Berg getting himself involved. That's Pape with the ball in hand. Support coming there from Sylvain Makane, one of the more experienced players in the team. Here they go, the French, and they've got it over. Hands off! Hands off! South Africa could give away a penalty here. They've got to be careful. The little chip kick.
It's going to be a toddle, this, for number 8, Julian Bornet. And what an inventive kick that was. They've got a penalty. Quick take from Dupree. He looks very much like he could be the catalyst if there's going to be a Springbok victory. Back for it, Lauragu. Held by David Perry. Is that a penalty to South Africa? It will be forthcoming. The referee's got his arm up. He's not going to need it for that because de Villiers has got in. Now Montgomery with a drop kick. Not to be outdone by Michalak. Montgomery's got it over. South Africa got to defend for all they're worth at the moment. It still goes through the hands. The little pop passes. Oh dear, here comes a try. It was not forward, says the referee. There's a first opportunity here for Yashvili. Can he get the kick over? Oh dear, that's also off the upright. 30 points to all it is. South Africa can breathe again.
And then it was off to the friendly city of Port Elizabeth for the second test against the Tricolours.
South Africa keeping it in field. 3 steps. Oh, he's got it perfectly. South Africa getting up onto them quickly, and that's turnover possession. Quick chance here for Montgomery. Slaps through, he's going to get the inside pass now. Yeah, comes the runner again. Well, it's at least 1 try test, almost 2. Haven't seen much of Peter de Villiers. South African born tight head for France. Won the test for the French. It seems to have hit it pretty solidly. The French are on the board. Been thumped back there by Skalkberger. But here comes Nicolas Brusque. De Villiers takes it away. De Villiers has got away and he hasn't grabbed it a touch. Will they catch him? I don't think so. Great individual work by South Africa's right winger. And a lot of spoiling there as well. And here comes Pascal Papé. Just a little tap over from Michalak. That's good driving by South Africa. Bit of space found. Inside she goes, just unfortunately to the wrong man. But the French were offside. Yannick Nyanga was the man. 2 steps. And a little pat over. Yashvili. Change, a little run around, taken away from a banner. Now, what's going to happen here? This is a foot race between the 2 number 11s. Good heavens, Brian Banner has got another twosome. 14 minutes left. French courtesy there, that's Pascal Papé. And Skalkberger guilty of a high tackle.
Back off, please.
Yep. Not really what South Africa wanted, or towards the goal line rather. Sebastian Brunner. Ball in hand. Help coming from Papé. He scored a try last week. Here they come, the French. Can they get it down? I fancy they have. Well, somebody put the ball on the deck.
It's not going to be a most difficult call for Mr. Ayer. And Mr. Courtney also agrees with him.
This week he couldn't have asked any more from the boxer. The boys put their hearts on the line. They hit everyone that came in their way. And we made sure we won this game, and that's all we wanted.
The Boks and the Wallabies meeting more often than they would have in the past, and that was because the All Blacks were tied up in a very interesting series against the British and Irish Lions.
Yes, and I think what happened is the Wallabies and the Springboks realised that they would be short of practice, and while the All Blacks were getting some good training for the Tri-Nations, so they arranged to play each other 4 times in that year, twice in the Tri-Nations, but the other 2 times for the Nelson Mandela Plate, and the first one of those games was in Sydney.
And we are playing for the Nelson Mandela Plate. It's home and away. South Africa are the holders, and a crowd of around 70,000 expected for this first clash.
In South Africa, they're really pressuring the first receiver from the Wallabies, putting pressure on. They've got a turnover.
No problem with distance, nor the accuracy. Joubert. Durant lost it backwards. This is Sofaka.
Get away, Kim! Advantage, Kim, go!
Easy 3 points.
Scores are level. Now there's a chance for Australia. Larkham saw the gap. He's a genius.
There's no ruck ball.
Space and no one home for the Springboks.
No fullback. Rogers. Matt Giddo. Good night, nurse. Habana is quick. Sensational breakout by the Wallabies.
It's left-hand side, the Wallabies. Larkham goes long.
Here comes Rogers. Will he win the race? Rogers there first. He only has to fall on it. And finish this off. Danny Rousseau.
John Muggleton's worked very hard with them through the week.
No fullback there. Terrible trouble here for the Box. Chisholm almost rolling over.
Numbers left-hand side and right.
Australia has to score here. Gitto, his second try. Montgomery. Referees mentioned that to the trainer as Montgomery steers it between the uprights, and the margin down to 19 points. Drew Mitchell again scragging him to ground. South Africa 15 metres out from the goal line. End over end goes Percy. They've done it superbly so far. They're in trouble here. Intercept for Matty Rogers. Chase from Habana, who's very quick. Support though from Mitchell, looking for his first test try in his very first test match.
How good is that for Drew Mitchell?
Well, the Box unfortunately falling apart at the seams a little in Sydney, but then again, off to Ellis Park, and it has proven time and time again to be our favourite venue when it comes to the big matches, and throw in a bit of Madiba magic.
Yeah, totally, isn't it? It's a funny thing that came out of the saga, because from '95 at Ellis Park, when we won the Rugby World Cup in the presence of Nelson Mandela, then he would establish a record as South Africa's #1 fan, because the Springboks never lost while he was actually in the stadium. The match commemorated his 87th birthday, and the Springboks retained the plate.
Well, I think it's a great moment, because we've got the opportunity, and I think the slogan for 46664 is "Give 1 minute of your life to AIDS." I think we've got the privilege of being able to give 80, and I think it's an unbelievable cause, and it's an unbelievable privilege to be able to play for it as well. To be able to represent a man like Madiba in the week where he's had his birthday is a privilege. To have met him is a privilege, and we'll have to give every ounce we've got to make sure that we can live up to that responsibility.
January, Smith, Tulsa springs away, penalty South Africa. Can't be more in front of the post than that South Africa. Gregan, Larkham, inside does it's Chisholm who bursts away from the first tackle. Now Australia build up. The Bruin won't worry him, and nor will the atmosphere. The scores are level. Gregan again as Larkham coasts on the short side, and it's been intercepted here by Jean de Villiers. Back right over their feet. Jean de Villiers is going to carry it all the way. Jean de Villiers has turned it around in dramatic fashion. Advantage over, says the referee. Low clear, advantage again for South Africa. January, Andrews, he couldn't hold on. The penalty will be awarded by Steve Walsh.
With some good effect.
Yeah, it's another pinpoint kick by Monty. This is the game, still to run. Regan, Gitto, Mortlock, Chikiri. Oh, look at this, it's been intercepted again. It is Andre Pretorius. He doesn't have the place of the Villiers, but Bell does. Advantage again, there could be a yellow card if Australia, even if Australia scored, there could be a yellow card. Regan.
He just got himself offside twice in the last play. Twice he was offside. Yellow card, repeated infringements.
Just to finish trying, he was sent off for the yellow card at Harrier. He's the man with the blue scrum cap. Now the Wallabies are nearly over.
Try!
Good work by Matfield. It's been those 2 interceptions and great tackling by South Africa that's kept the Wallabies at bay as Eddie Andrews swirls it around. Picked up by Young, worked to Sharp. Now it's Mortlock. Oh, and Rocky Ilsom is down.
Right on the button.
Well, what did he say? It was unintentional yet reckless. Pretorius, De Villiers, always got away from the men again. Beautiful pass! Jacques Fourie, that's a fabulous try!
Advantage!
Oh, advantage to South Africa. Dupree, Pretorius, a little grubber through now, and Larkin's back for it.
Number 1.
Well, 7 out of 7 now. Now it's Sailor. Back goes Tiranui. He's done well. But it's Smith, and it's ripped away by Frida Priya. Now Gregan. Sailor swirls away from one. This could be a try for Larkin. It will be a try for Stephen Larkin. This Wallaby side never give up. The crowd are booing because they thought that Brian Habana was hard done by. Desperate to get over the South African line. Mortlock's tough to bring down. Pretorius hang on for dear life. Good ball this for Whittaker. Here goes Jeremy Paul. And try. Jeremy Paul gets it down. The referee right on the spot.
It was another dominant performance by the Boks and a fantastic way to wrap up the Nelson Mandela Challenge. But then Tri-Nations time and again the Wallabies for another 2 test matches. And oddly enough, Dan, the number 22 seems to be a focal point in the Springboks, not only for the Boks as a team, but in particular for Brayton Paulser.
Yes, Cora, if Jake White was taking a lotto ticket at the time, he would have had to include the number 22. We played 3 test matches in a row. Against Australia and New Zealand, which is as tough as it comes. We scored 22 points each time, and each time it proved to be the winning score. And also Brayton Paulser in the first test, the one after the Nelson Mandela Plate at Loftus Versfeld, scored his 22nd try, which made him second on the list after Joos van der Westhuizen. Another piece in Jake White's puzzle was put into place with the reappearance from injury of Andre Pretorius, becoming number 13 as the 2007 Rugby World Cup final squad continued to take shape.
Well, it's in.
Well, that was a great result against the Wallabies, but then the All Blacks are always looming. But Dan Carter already had established himself as a force to be reckoned with, and a lot of talk, and he coined the phrase himself, "Get Carter," and I don't know if the Boks did exactly that, but a favourable result.
Yeah, it didn't turn out like that. Who they did get was Byron Keller, because Victor Matfield broke through a line out, hit Byron Keller very hard. And what the upshot of that is that the All Blacks started squealing about Victor Matfield's bionic arm. And somebody in New Zealand started a rumour that Victor Matfield had a metal plate strapped into his forearm, and that is with which he hit Byron Keller. Of course, nothing could be further from the truth. Another test match that produced an intercept try for Jean de Villiers.
Jake Smith has had 19 tests in charge. 666 points have been scored by South Africa with 76 tries, 57 of them by the back line. Here's the little chip from him up for Rico Gier and Keller. There's going to be a penalty to South Africa. On its way. Has it got the distance? Yes, it has. And out. Jacket is eventually Keller. Thumped into the deck there by Matfield, and he stays down.
And it will be a big blow for the All Blacks early in the game if he cannot continue.
January, will he change direction? He should perhaps do that. Pretorius with a drop. There she goes. Rico Gier, beautiful sidestep. This man's got pace. Kelleher, taken away. De Villiers, he's got Baden Paulson. They're not going to catch him. There's no ways. Everything going the way they want. Jean de Villiers. And I tell you what, it's like 2-3 South Africans on every single individual All Black. Well, there's nothing wrong with that kick. More possession now as well. A little bit more continuity. Collins, couple of extra men over the top. She goes. Here comes Rico Gier, and it's an easy run-in for the right winger. Will be caught offside as well. Will it be 3 out of 3? Yep, it certainly looks like it. Durant. Oh, there's going to be a penalty here for Springboks. Monty just left of centre. That's spot on.
Left back right through the middle.
Staying on his feet.
Leave it, Black, leave it!
And South Africa, first points of the second half. Crowd all behind them. Vital kick for him. It's been turned over by New Zealand. Carter going with the cross kick. It's gone too far. So Carter gets his third penalty kick of the game. South Africa just have to kick this into touch. And that Farida Priya has done. And it is the end of the game, says Andrew Cole. What a victory this for South Africa.
Yeah, I think it was a great game. The guys came out here. I think as we ran on for a warm-up and we felt the people out here and the presence, how can you lose in a stadium like this? So we really felt like it was impossible to lose today.
The Freedom Cup from Mr. Brian van Rooyen.
3 weekends in a row now, and I think the experiences we had last week against Australia obviously helped us this week, because we knew it was going to go to the last minute, and it literally went to the last minute. Defence at the end there to keep the All Black side out. Obviously, just showed us how much we learned from last weekend, so all credit to the players.
They took their opportunities, and they played better than we did. We are disappointed, but we thought the other guys played better than we did, and this is a 4-game competition. Well, we play 4, whatever that means. And we're looking forward to the rest of it.
Off to Perth, which by this stage, Dan, was proving to be a home away from home for the Springboks. And who could forget Flying Brian?
Yeah, amazing. 2 exceptional tries, long-range tries, showing just what a wonderful talent Brian Abana was. Of course, it was the first time we'd won overseas since '98. So under Jake White, the Springboks were operating, they were doing well, they were managing to win overseas, and of course at that point, they'd never lost at home. So things were looking good.
Well, Subiaco Oval hasn't always been a happy hunting ground for the Wallabies, particularly against the Springboks, with a win, a draw and a loss. But Eddie brings his team here tonight under a fair bit of pressure once again. Eddie, it must have been tough during the week, not only with preparing for this game under a lot of pressure, but also with the selections.
Oh, look, we've just tried to focus on what's important for us this week, and that's having a good preparation. Obviously, we've had a few injuries, but the guys who are going to take the field tonight are very good players, and it just creates opportunities.
We've been really reasonably successful here. We've played here 3 times against Australia. We've won 1, lost 1 and drawn 1. So, and when you compare how badly we've done in Sydney and in Brisbane and those other teams, and, when we've played in Australia, we haven't had any luck. So I think South Africans enjoy it, and also the fact that there's quite a few expats that live here, and a lot of people say it's home from home. It's not quite home from home, but it's probably a lot closer to home than it is when you've got to fly all the way to Sydney or Brisbane.
It's difficult to play away from home against any top nation. So I think time will tell. We're obviously winding up to a World Cup in 2007, and winning away from home is going to be the make or break of any side that wants to obtain a trophy.
Just behind Skalkberger. Now it's with Gito as it's knocked on by Lyons, and it's advantage to South Africa. Beautiful pickup. Now a chance here for South Africa. Abella races away. Brilliant run. Now can he take it on? He's going to beat George Gregan. This is Brian Abella. Catch me if you can. The pressure coming from plenty of ball for Australia, and Australia taking penalty kicks. It's a problem for Matt Gito. Pretty well under pressure. Oh, and look at that. Montgomery really has done well. Watt out of 3. Will this carry? Yes, say the touch judges. That's a fantastic tackle by none other than Ricky January.
Deliberately kicking the ball out from fast ball. He's getting 10 minutes in the bin. I will have no cynical in my thing. Thank you.
And that's curved in beautifully, but not by far. Juwan Smith steps. Now full war in there very quickly. It's South Africa's penalty. And that's a pretty good strike, and it's over again. I think they've got a stronger front row. Now, can they hold the ball at the back end? Clear by 8, which psychologically is a good point. Will it hold its line? Yes, Elsom. Pulsar stands up to him. No, and it's whipped away by Green. And it's no problem at all. It's still on that Wallaby goal line. Rogers. No, it was in fact Mitchell who kicked it away. Now can Monty kick a drop here? Steadies himself. Strikes. Flies. 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 It's over! Good take by Sharp. Gito a bit flatter this time. And now here they go. This could be a try for Australia. It is for Clyde Rathbone. Now it's with Gito once again. He's had plenty of ball as Gruta scrags him. Oh, and it's another penalty. This time Rogers shows his big match temperament. It's gone forward. Here goes Jakob van der Westhuizen. Get it to Brian Abella. Get it out on the wing. Here he goes again. He's got to get behind the post. Look at this. He's done it again. It's quite remarkable. It's unbelievable.
The name of the game is turnovers night, and when you score 80-minute tries, it totally breaks the other side. So I was fortunate we got the ball away to me, and when I see the try line, I only want to do what's best for the team, and that's go to go score.
And you must have been very nervous. You haven't won away against a major nation in 15 test matches. The guys were relieved tonight.
Yeah, I think it was more of a do or die kind of thing. It wasn't pretty. It was ugly, to be honest, but it's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to win away from home against a really top side, and the Wallabies are a top side, so we're really proud of tonight.
I'll be the first one to admit, and I think our Australian and New Zealand partners would always argue with us, but we have forever and will forever play with a handicap in a Tri-Nations and a Super 14. Travel is just a major issue, and being away from home has an effect on players. We took a long time to adapt to that.
Well, a fantastic result from Perth, and then on to Carisbrook, which is as tough a venue as any for any team to get a victory, and the Boks came oh so close.
As Jake White said, the Springboks were 4 minutes away from being the Tri-Nations champions and being number 1 in the world. That's how close it was. A great day for Ricky January. He had a hand in all 3 of the tries, and I suppose it was practice for another great day some years hence in the Springbok Saga by Ricky January.
We worked extremely hard in making sure that 2005 we were going to be in the running for that Tri Nations, and we were really close to making it back-to-back victories.
It has been raining on and off during this week in Dunedin. Friday will be rain, they say, but it'll clear up on Saturday. It still will be wet underfoot here at Dunedin, and that's where guys like Oosterrand will play a massive role, especially in the scrums where he will anchor for South Africa.
Ons was te vyf op hierdie stadium, dink ek domineer goed. Ons skramwerk is sterk op hierdie stadium. So definitely ja, dit gaan vir ons baie belangrik wees om die papdek aan te maak daarso en die game na hulle toe te vat, hulle absoluut aan te vat in die scrums op hulle scrums te ontwrig, hulle lynstande te ontwrig.
South Africa have never won a test at the House of Pain, and Captain John Smith says it will be his greatest achievement to beat the All Blacks there.
Without a doubt, the All Blacks are the greatest rugby rivals known to us. I mean, it's one of the games that you start thinking about before you played your first game of rugby, and it's something that's part of our culture, our traditions, and the history of our game. To be able to come over here, and I think the first test between All Blacks and the Springboks in New Zealand was played at Dunedin in 1921. So to be able to play in a game like that, this is the first time I've played for the Springboks against the All Blacks. At a venue like this, it's something that I'll never ever forget.
New Zealand's haka had been feared and respected all over the world, and even imitated by this group of pre-primary kids in South Africa. But for the test at Dunedin, they paid the Springboks the compliment of adopting a new call to war.
We have two huckers now, and so we'll decide probably before the game, early in the week or later in the week, which one we'll do. So now Cummit has been all by itself for a long time now. Now it's got a mate to go forward.
But thanks to the controversial throat-slitting motion, it would soon be scrapped.
A new tradition.
Still South Africa maintain the ball. Good little dart by Fanika. Good hands by him as well. Great support from his fellow flank, Juan Smith, and it's a penalty to South Africa. 2 steps, bang, over. Another opportunity for Pretorius. Charged down by, oh, here goes. This is trouble for South Africa. Nobody will catch Rokothoko. It's his 6th try. Out for Major. Good defence there by Jacques Ferry and by Juan Smith. Now chance here for Habana. Habana's away, and he's done it again. Would you believe it? Brian Habana. Montgomery is under it. Here comes McCaw. Contests well. South Africa must be careful. Well done by Burger there not to go offside. Mialamina McDonald will score against South Africa. McDonald. Rokothoko was the dummy runner on the outside. Wipu got it back. Rokothoko gets through Bucky's Buerta, gets through another, and has scored his 2nd try. He's bumping men off in midfield there. Oh, Ricky January now. Can the little man score? Well played! Ricky January may have just put the Springboks back in the game. Still more men on the outside. It's got to come right from January. The All Blacks under enormous pressure. Great play by South Africa there. If it strikes the bar, there are no speed men there. And the flags go up. Wipu, McCaw. Springboks need to make those first-time tackles again. Penalty, All Blacks. Well, that's right through the middle by Liam McDonald. Once again, Collins. Oh, and January's done it. Look at this. Ricky January. Can he get away? No, he can't. But Jacques Ferry can. Blacks, if South Africa don't hold on, they're going. Oh, it's Mialamu who's gone. The try is given. The All Blacks are back in the lead.
Baie goeie dryfbeweging deur die All Blacks. To the Springboks credit, they came all this way and they never gave up. As you saw on the scoreboard and as you saw in the way they played. And I think we were fortunate to hold them out and get what we got, but we're happy with it.
A really tough game, and we knew it was going to be tight. And just let it go in the end there, but it was a good performance by the boys. They put everything out there. I think our time's still coming over here in New Zealand.
I was walking through the city this morning and someone just said to me, it's like the old days, you know. I think that's a compliment to where this team is. I think for the last couple of years we wouldn't have been given that much respect, and it just shows again what we're sitting with. This is a special team, and to go from 6 in the world to 2 in the world over a matter of 18 months is something they can be proud of.
Well, it really was tough going down to the All Blacks in the dying moments of the match, and I suppose another year it really could have been another Tri-Nations victory. But on to the end of year tour, 3 test matches beginning in Buenos Aires.
Yeah, I must say about the game in Dunedin, it was quite odd that the Springboks, in fact, in the second year of Jake White's tenure, did better than they did in the first. So then, as you say, on to Argentina to play at the Vélez Sarsfield Stadium. And a most interesting incident in Test match rugby is Jean de Villiers actually saves an Argentinian player from falling into a moat, which is there to keep the players safe at soccer games. You know, it doesn't happen at rugby. And then Jean de Villiers ended up being cited for that and getting a most unfair suspension. But look at it in the game and see what you think.
Buenos Aires is one of the most colourful cities in the world, with its buskers, wide open streets and brilliant sunshine.
It's often called the Paris of South America. We're currently standing right in the middle of 18 lanes of traffic flying past us. Jake White earlier announced his box side. Your thoughts on the team?
Well, I think that, there are 4 changes in the side, with Jean de Villiers moving into number 12 and Jacques Grenier, who played in the tests in Dunedin, off the bench. So the new guys, Janchas, Conradi and Solly Chibalika, all have an opportunity to show Jake White just what they're made of. I think Janchas provides another dimension in the back triangle.
Played half the Super 12 on wing, so I think also if was pulled up injured tomorrow, I'd probably try to force my way in at prop as well.
I think Conradi has shown that he's up to test level.
Was 2003 laas op de toer en jy weet wat die toer was hy was nog 3 nederlaag alleen jy weet en ek wil hê my so nederlaag lê in soos.
And Solly hasn't let South Africa down when he started in a test.
I'm happy, especially when they announced the squad this year, because I didn't play that much rugby. I was so very excited as if it's going to be my first time to represent my country.
Yes, I think it's all an opportunity for them. The midfield Springboks are screaming for support. A hand goes out by one of the Springboks over the maul. Intercepted by CJ van der Linde. But the penalty is now awarded by Tony Spreadbury. I don't think it'll be to the advantage of either side. And the Pumas are in the lead. Conradi, Smith. Still advantage to South Africa. Montgomery from the halfway line. Beautiful strike. That's a magnificent kick. The flags go up. Horst Durant coming in a little bit too quickly there. And a chance here for Legisimo. The big flanker. That's it. Good pressure from Madfield, except he was offside. Quickly taken by Fernandez Lobby. Tackled by Buerta. Here goes Contopomi, the centre. Gets it to his brother Felipe, and that's beautifully read as the left wingers Leonelli, who should score here. Simple try for Leonelli. This is a good maul by South Africa as they go over the 10-metre line of the Pumas. Referee with his arm out for advantage. Brent Russell looking for a bit of space. The penalty is given. Buck jersey. See that? Just 2 paces. And the flags are up again. Moves it up towards the 22. Good circulation here by South Africa. Johan Smith, Brent Russell, Percy Montgomery. Who've worked their way back to their 22. Pisho again now for Aramburu. Aramburu gets it. Look at that. They have given the try. Good tackle there by Duran. Now, great, that's a beautiful gap by Bulakanradi, and it's Jacques Ferry who dragged his man onto our side. That's great work by the blonde flanker, and Montgomery is able to get it away. Oh, Hernandez and Borges really making a shambles of things. Jean de Villiers. There's a bit of a moat around the field there now. They don't need to start having a fight now, surely. Jean de Villiers is trying to wrest the ball away. He didn't, but now then he just shovels the guy over the advertising hoardings. Now Jean de Villiers has been given a yellow card. I reckon if there weren't a moat there, Jean de Villiers would not be given a yellow card. They produce it now, they've gone the wrong way again. Advantage to South Africa. Conradi with the drop kick, and Conradi has just popped over a drop. Albert van den Berg very nearly over. Still Berger continuing with the rush, and Johan Smith has got the ball over the line.
Well, some would say a great save by Jean de Villiers there.
And then, of course, the next test match, Collar, was Millennium Stadium against Wales. Andre Pretorius, interestingly, was hurt in Buenos Aires, which resulted in a debut for a young player from the Free State called Meyer Bosman.
Cardiff, Wales, the home of the legendary Gareth Edwards, a place where the ghosts of old rugby legends hide behind every ancient stone. If ever there was a country where the spirit of rugby runs in the blood of every man, woman and child, it would be Wales. And it is here where the Springboks have come to face the Six Nations champions. Jake has made no secret of the fact that he will be playing newcomer Meyer Bosman at number 10.
We talk a lot in South Africa about who is the next Flaaf, and they keep talking Naas Botha and where's the next Naas Botha and the next Henry Honeyball, or etc., etc. And I think it's been one part of South African rugby that people have been speaking about the most, and it's exciting. I think I can feel the energy in the team. I mean, Meyer Bosman obviously gets a huge opportunity, and I'm almost convinced that he is going to do what everyone's, what's the team expecting to do.
Ek is regtig gelukkig. Ek dink meeste van die ouens wou dit self nie glo nie, maar kry ongelooflik baie ondersteuning van almal waarvoor ek baie dankbaar is, en ja, soos my pa kom bietjie oor kom kykie toe Saterdag, daar is ek ook baie bly. Ja, so ek sê net baie ondersteuning, en mens is maar net dankbaar vir sulke mense in jou lewe.
John Smith came out on his own because he's playing today his 50th test match, half of which he's been the captain. White says he's just giving a rest to today. It's going to be a mighty tussle in the scrum there, Gareth or Reece Thomas, the hooker. But the penalty is for South Africa. And over! Claessens again, de Villiers, overlap again for South Africa. Beautiful pass, Brian Habella! He gets dragged over. That's a penalty to South Africa. Just working overtime. And no problem for the record-breaking fullback. So hands in, now Cooper takes quickly, moves it out to Williams. Bit static by Wells, not back 10 metres. That's a pretty good strike, over the crossbar. Claessens, Bosman, de Villiers, lovely little step by him. And Janches now tries on here, Brian Habella! By Bucky's Botha, Jean de Villiers for Meyer Bosman, cross kick for Conrad Janches. Oh, it was nearly a beautiful touch.
Up off the ground with his legs, and throwing him across his hip onto the ground.
Okay. You saying it's dangerous?
Yes, considering he's already been spoken to once.
And then he's grabbed him and thrown him over. Okay, we said about foul play.
Well, it's not often that you see Percy Montgomery. It's probably the first yellow card he's ever got.
Wat was gevaarlik daaromtrent? Swak beslissing, pateties eintlik.
Well, it's a lovely pass from
Michael Claessens for Oosterrand. Matfield with a tap. What a pick-up by Bosman. Here goes Habana, looking for the hat-trick. And here the Janches! Try South Africa! Has taken over the kicking duties. First points possibly for the Springbok. And it's over! It's Watkins who stepped inside. Chavez got it to ground. Williams goes for the corner. Great defense by Monty.
Maar kyk vir Percy Montgomery, 'n seker 5 punte wat hy keer.
High tackle, which is a yellow card. Second yellow card, which means red.
John Smith pleading Monty's case. So Percy Montgomery, I must say that Bryce Lawrence has had a lot to say in this game, the one-touch judge. They need a scrum half. Michael Owen, Williams. That's great running off the ball by Kerry Sweeney. Claessens, Juan Smith. So nearly over. Got a try against Argentina. Claessens again. Jacques Ferry. Good feedback here. Skalkberger. Wonderful pass by Skalkberger. Try given. It's with Donny Rousseau.
Yeah, it's always fantastic. It's sometimes a bit of a voodoo, but yeah, it's been an unbelievable privilege, and I can only be grateful for the privilege that I've had to play 50 times for South Africa.
Well, it was a great result against the then Six Nations champions, and I suppose for the record, it must be pointed out, Brian Habana's 2 tries, 11th and 12th for the season, was yet another record. And of course, John Smith playing in his 50th test as a Springbok.
Yeah, how could I forget that, because we'd been talking about what a player Habana had become, and then John Smith, I think, was already starting to gather that status as one of South Africa's great captains. The next test match was against the French in Paris, and funny enough, it was a very unhappy outing for John Smith. He had a clash with the French captain, Jérôme Thion, that resulted in a sighting, and what I thought was the most unfair sighting, a miscarriage of justice, if ever there was one. Kola, I think let's have a look at the tape, and you decide whether John Smith deserved what came his way.
It's a magnificent and very, very noisy Stade de France where we greet you from here this evening. We hope you've been able to stay up this Saturday night to watch the 35th Test match between South Africa and France. In goes Bakkies Botha with a good tackle, but it's Nyanga again, and Bride, well, here goes Sarzeski. Sarzeski could make it. Try France! Claessens, Bosman, for a moment he wasn't looking there. Now South Africa, Jacques Ferry could have got it away. Now Michalak with the interception. Here goes de Villiers. Jean de Villiers will have to hunt him down. Michalak will slide in. Second try for France. Now John Smith tidying up. It's captain against captain, and Thion, it took a bit of a knock then. Well, it's John Smith. They haven't got a number. There you see it's captain against captain. It'll be a penalty against John Smith. And now a chance for John Smith. Best bit of play for South Africa. Skalkberger! They need to keep it alive. They've got men on the left-hand side of the field. And the referee has called a penalty. Well, he's right in front of the post. Is Percy Montgomery. Pops it over the crossbar. Needs help, and quickly. There it is, as Meyer Bosman didn't see it come out, and South Africa under pressure. Habana has work to do here. Penalty to France. It would be unfortunate for South Africa because they were in possession. Claessens, it's done well. Good ball here for Bakkies Botha. They must keep it alive. Go on. Awesome. No. Now, Scott Young blew his whistle and he's given the try.
Roland wat eintlik weet of hy kom of gaan nie.
Nelly Sold. Nice little tap by him. Heymans is flying. It's not. It's Legerie. We have 25 minutes left in the game. South Africa have 13 points to make up. This time his left foot is secure and he has booted it over. Claessens, Bosman. Oh, look at this. Jacques Ferry has timed his run perfectly. A sniff of hope for South Africa. Beautiful running off the ball.
Perhaps not a favourable result then against the French, but then at least Jake White's plan was really starting to come through. He had an incredibly experienced side by the time he played against France.
In fact, the most experienced side of all time at that time was 455 caps. It went to Jake White's philosophy of being loyal to his players and knowing what he wanted, which was speed, size and mobility, and the plan was starting to come together. Looking ahead to 2006, we all thought that 2006 was going to be another wonderful year for Springbok rugby.
The performances of 2005 vindicated the victory of 2004. Because of winning the Tri Nations, everyone was saying, well, is this a one-hit wonder? Those 2 years, I think, brought us credits and allowed us to get through the very difficult year of 2006.
Little did we know that the wheel would turn. Jake White would find himself under enormous pressure from administrators.
I'm not going to shirk about it. There's obviously negotiations going forward with SA Rugby, and there's obviously, opportunities for me abroad, and my first loyalty is to the Springbok team.
In fact, he was nearly axed. The Springboks suffered a 49-0 defeat to Australia.
The biggest side in South Africa have had against Australia. It's been a humiliating night.
And Schalk Burger, the talisman of Springbok rugby, would be very seriously injured in a test match against Scotland. And what better way than to play out 2005 with a tribute to the Rugby Player of the Year and record all his wonderful tries, Brian Habana.
Come on and make my debut. I think it is a dream that every rugby player and every boy in South Africa dreams about. There's just so many emotions and so many different feelings going through. Pride, this ambitious thing that you're trying to achieve your whole life, that you run out to the park with 21 of your best mates wearing a jersey that's so historic and has got so much pride and tradition in it, and it was a huge privilege and honour.
He's got a man on his outside. Masterica, Brian Habana gets his first touch. This is the moment, fantastic moment for Brian Habana.
What a way then to start his international career.
Scored a try on debut, the first touch of my international rugby career. At test level against the world champions at the home of rugby was sort of a fairy tale writing that I couldn't have written better or put in a better sequence.
Midfield now, South. Oh, that's it! Brian Habana will canter away.
2005, after the year I'd had in 2004, I didn't think it could get any better.
Listen to the crowd, little tap and go. The bounce is good. That's what they came here to see. Brian Habana scoring tries. He's got the pace. Good hands by the back line. Brian Habana has got his second try here in Durban. Slips through, he's going to get the inside pass now. Yeah, puts it in again. Brian Habana has got another twosome.
Is that not a superb try from the youngster? He's unbelievable. He's had such a season this year.
Two against Australia in Perth were definitely the most memorable.
This is Brian Habana. Catch me if you can. Get it to Brian Habana. Get it out on the wing. Can they catch this man? Habana. He's done it again. Here he goes again. He's got to get behind the post. Look at this. He's done it again. It's quite remarkable. It's unbelievable.
Went through the phases and a very clinical finish by the fastest player in world rugby.
You realise a dream, and it's the start of your future. It was very, very special for me personally. It was a huge privilege and honour.
I still hear about the 49-0 today.
This episode of Springbok Saga was brought to you by Castle Lager, the taste that stood the test of time.